Good morning, good folks. Pastor Dennis Tedder here, sharing some of my morning meditations in my own manner on a Friday morning. I'd like to open with a hymn that I've shared before, but this hymn, in effect, won a hymn contest on the theme of stewardship, how we use the time and treasures God gives us in a faithful manner. That's called stewardship. And this hymn is entitled, God Whose Giving Knows No Ending. God whose giving knows no ending, from your rich and endless store, nature's wonder, Jesus' wisdom, costly cross, grave, shattered door. Gifted by you, we turn to you, offering up ourselves in praise. Thankful song shall rise before you, gracious donor of our days. Gracious donor of our days. And that leads to my acronym. I've been letting acronyms guide some of my thoughts this week. And there's an acronym that we use called FOMO, fear of missing out. And it refers to a modern tendency of folks to overschedule and overload themselves with activity and doing things because we fear missing out. We can do it to ourselves, we can do it with our families, children, and so we end up wearing ourselves out trying to make sure we don't miss out on anything. We experience everything everybody else is experiencing. We fear missing out, and the result is kind of worn out people and overloaded lives. We don't really get to slow down enough. And so my acronym is not FOMO, but a variation of that my wife shared with me from a book called The Joy of Missing Out, Live More by Doing Less. I can't recommend the book because I haven't read it, but I really love the acronym JOMO, Joy of Missing Out. Sometimes when our priorities shift and we devote more time to simply living or our priorities in living, we don't miss out. We can't do everything, so we enjoy what we do. And I've been thinking about that because people have been sharing with me in this time of sheltering in place, restricted activities, less work, perhaps for sad reasons, this pandemic, but that they've not missed out. In fact, they've enjoyed some things they might have missed out on. Here's some of those things folks have shared with me, that they're cooking more and sharing new recipes. Folks have shared or posted their child's first solo bike ride, that they've taught their child to ride a bike without training wheels, which they would have done eventually, but they said we took more time with it. It wasn't quite as rushed and anxious. One family shared their first fishing trip with their young daughters, and the father said, I'm not sure we would have scheduled that for any time soon, maybe not in a long time. And so they have pictures of their child's first fish that they caught. People have reconnected, had reunions of sort through Zoom and other online means, and they said, I probably wouldn't have done that, except that we're in a time of some changed schedules and some more time at home. My wife and I have spent more time together in the evenings, a little less rushed most days, listening to music. And there's one song I might not have even noted, but we've listened to it several times, and I'm beginning to think of it as our song. I like it a lot. So we haven't missed out, even though we're more restricted. The truth is, we have more time, and our priorities have shifted, and we've enjoyed life. And the little moments that we have before us that we might have overlooked before. So the verse I'm thinking of in reflection of the joy of missing out, that we're not missing out, is 1 Peter 4:10. An older apostle writing to the community, and it's in the name of Peter. And it's this: serve one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. Let me say that again. Serve one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. I've always liked that phrase, manifold grace. There are many, many gifts that God graciously bestows on us, and we're to be stewards of that. But we serve one another with those manifold gifts of grace. And I love that verse because I'm thinking about it in reflection on all the many moments we're given each day and the simple pleasures that we're to steward, to make sure we truly enjoy or share in some way. And right now we're doing that in some new ways because of the COVID-19 pandemic and measures in place. Our priorities and schedules are a little different, and perhaps we can be more faithful stewards of God's little gifts each moment the first fish, doing the dishes together and listening to music, dancing in the kitchen. um, so let me share also this quote for you. It's from Graham Cook. God has abundance. The enemy has a budget. God has abundance. The enemy has a budget. I really pray that we would be good stewards of the manifold grace of God and realize we have moments that sometimes might have been overlooked or filled with a frenzy of activity that right now we're relearning. We can slow down. We need to slow down, and we can give our lives a different priority, devote attention to one another in new ways. And there's all kinds of grace and little gifts to be found in simple moments and these simple pleasures. Let me close with another verse of God whose giving knows no ending. Treasures too you have entrusted, gained through powers your grace conferred, ours to use for home and kindred, and to spread the gospel word. Open wide our hands in sharing, as we heed Christ's ageless call, healing, teaching, and reclaiming, serving you by loving all. Please pray with me. Lord, help us to be good stewards of the manifold grace before us. We're amazed at the abundance you give us, the gifts in each moment. Each moment holds all manner of opportunities to serve you and to enjoy life. And we're grateful for this time now, even with its hardships and challenges. Help us to use our days and each moment wisely, appreciating the abundance there. Amen.